All right, we're going to start here with video number 4 with inverse relations with exponentials. Our first problem will be f of x equals 2 to the x power. Just like we have done with the other problems that we've been working on, start out by taking the f of x and changing it to y equals 2 to the x. And then you're going to switch your x and your y. Now, this part right here, you should know that the opposite of an exponential problem is a log problem. But we're going to rewrite this because I've showed you guys how to make an L. And when you have it written like you do up here, your L is going to have to be backwards and it's going to be all funky looking, really mess you up. So rewrite this problem with 2 to the y equals x. Always put the exponential part first, so when you make your L, things will turn out correctly. Things will go in the right spots. So log base 2 of x equals y. And notice when you did that, it solved the problem for y for you. So now we just need to write it as an inverse. So f of -1 of x log base 2 of x, and we don't need to worry about changing it to the same base or anything like that. We're going to leave it like that. So let's try number 2 here. F of x equals 1/3 to the x power. Change that f of x to a y equals. And then you're going to switch your x and your y. And I'm going to rewrite this so the exponential part will be in the front. I noticed I didn't put parentheses here. It's not a big deal that I left them off. And I'm going to change this to log form. So I'm going to make my L. So log, my base will be 1/3. X equals y. And then I'm just going to rewrite this with the f to the -1. And I have my answer. Let's try a third problem here where I'm going to, sorry about that, I'm going to show you something a little different on this one. F of x equals 5 to the x power. And this -8 is going to be not in the exponent. Take that f of x and change it to a y. And you're going to switch your x and your y. I'm going to go ahead and switch this around like I did on the previous problems, and I'm going to do 5 to the y -8 equals x. Now I cannot take it to a log at this point right here. I need to add 8 to both sides. So I've got 5 to the y equals x plus 8. Now I have this in log or exponential form with the base by itself. So I'm going to make my L. And I'm going to have log base 5. And I'm going to put this x plus 8 in parentheses equals y. And the reason why I'm putting this in parentheses is going to come into effect for this next problem that I'm going to do. So I'm going to do f to the -1 of x equals log base 5 of x plus 8. And that will be your answer right there. Now, this parentheses that I'm going to talk about will make more sense in this next problem. So our fourth problem here, we are going to do f of x equals 4 to the x minus 2. Notice that x minus 2 is in the exponents. Both of those are in the exponents. So we're going to switch that f of x to a y equals. And then you're going to switch your x and your y. And now I'm going to rewrite it with the exponents first, like we have done on the other problems. And I'm going to make my L. I'm going to make my L now because this y minus 2 is up here in the exponent spot, so I'm going to have to get rid of that. So now I'm going to have log base 4 of x equals y minus 2. Now, this y minus 2 is here, so I'm going to have to add 2 to both sides. When you add 2 to both sides, you're not going to combine that x and that 2 together. What you're going to have is log base 4 of x, and think about that as being in its own parentheses, plus 2 equals y. Think about that 2 is not attached to that log at all. It is on its own. So your answer will be f to the negative 1 of x equals log base 4 of x plus 2. And this will be your answer. All right.